as HBO Sports presents a sports special. The 1983 Caesars Palace Invitational. Welcome to the Sports Pavilion at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. HBO Sports is proud to present the 4th annual Caesars Palace Women's Invitational. Hello, everybody. I am Len Dawson. Joining me is our expert, John Trietta. John, I notice a lot of familiar faces this year, but I also see some new ones. What can we expect in the event today?
Len, we could expect a very exciting competition. America's sweetheart, Tracy Talavera, is here, and she won last year's competition. She's also the current champion of the United States. With her, the #1 ranked gymnast in the United States, Julianne McNamara. Julianne won the bronze medal in the World Championships recently, and is really an exceptional gymnast who did very well at the American Cup last year. She won that also. But there's a real challenge for these two girls. Diana Durham and Mary Lou Retton, two very explosive, unique, creative gymnasts, and I think there's a possibility of an upset here today.
John, thank you very much. Joining us on the telecast today, a man noted for baseball, Tim McCarver. Tim, welcome to HBO Sports in Gymnastics. We all know you for Race to the Pennant in baseball. I also know, and the people should know, that you did a special feature for our program today. Tell us about it.
Well, Lenny, there are many clubs throughout the country that are responsible for training these young athletes. However, we had a chance to visit one of the more prominent clubs up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, the Parkettes. And we looked at the equipment, the training, the coaches, and especially the enormous expense. We went over the enormous expense that's involved in running one of these clubs. And in our respective sports, you in football and me in baseball, we were used to seeing youngsters train very well. And I'll tell you, I was so impressed at the facilities and the training of these fine young athletes.
Tim, if you were impressed then, wait till you see what is going to happen this afternoon, because we have a great event coming up for you. Let's get underway right now with the 4th annual Caesars Palace Women's Invitational. We are now ready for the first of 4 events in this competition. And John, I wonder if you'd explain this first event.
Len, our first event requires that the gymnast push both hands off the horse. This is followed by an acrobatic skill as high off the horse and as far away from the horse as possible. A good solid landing is crucial, and the gymnast has 2 attempts at the score.
And that is called the vault. Our first competitor is 14-year-old Michelle DeShare. She is from Garden Grove, California, trains with the Scats. Her coach is Don Peters.
Good, strong run. Hurdle onto the board, and here is a Sukahara with a full twist and an excellent landing, and this is a very fine vault, Len.
We'll have another opportunity to take a look in slow motion of Michelle's vault, and what if you'd explain the takeoff?
Well, you can see she's a very talented acrobat. Here's a half on to the horse and a full twisting back somersault off the horse, and just a little hop back for a 10th deduction, but it's going to score very well.
As you mentioned, each of the contestants gets 2 opportunities at the vault. They take the best score of the two vaults.
Makes things a little bit easier.
Her first attempt was 9.50, which is very, very good.
That's a pretty good score to start off with. I would say she's going to do the same vault. It's another Sukahara with a full twist.
Michelle DeShare, her first attempt, 9.50.
Now this Sukahara with a full twist, watch, Len. It's a half on, half turn onto the horse, pushes off the horse, and a full twisting back somersault, and just a slight little hop afterwards for about a 10th deduction.
The second attempt, the same as the first for Michelle DeShare, 9.50. Our second participant is Sherry Mann, 17 years old, from Potomac, Maryland, trains with MG Gymnastics. Her coach, Greg Wise.
Sherry does an interesting vault. She does a full twist onto the horse, then pushes off the horse both hands and does a full twist off the horse.
Last year, Sherry Mann came in second in the Caesars Palace Invitational.
Very tough competition this year. Watch, full turn on, full twist off. Full on, push, off, full off. A little out of control on the landing, a few steps forward. Every step, Len, a 10th deduction.
Her first vault, 9.45. And you may recall that Michelle DeShare's 9.50 is the time to beat, or the score to beat. Second attempt, Sherry Mann.
Most likely the same vault. It is full on, full off. Oh, she does a 1.5 twist off, a little extra difficulty on that. But I would say this would not score as well, Len, because she split her legs an awful lot in the vault, and that's going to cause some additional execution deductions. Watch the legs. You can see them split and kind of all over the place. Big step backwards and off to the side.
Sherry Mann, 9.45, her first vault.
Here's the next score, 9.35.
9.35, so she will take the first one, which was 9.45. Cheryl Weatherstone, our next contestant. She's 18 years old, from Darien, Connecticut. She was actually born in Britain. She's with the Berks Gymnastic Academy. Tom McCarthy, her coach.
Sukahara laid out, piped around, one big step backwards for about a 1/2 deduction, but it was a very neat vault.
1981, Cheryl represented her country.
On this, she does a half turn onto the horse, pushes off, and a back somersault, and pikes in the hips. Watch the big step backwards. Hops and a step, about 2/3 deduction on that, Len.
Cheryl Weatherstone, her first vault, and the score is 9.25. Michelle DeSare still is leading with 9.50. Remember, that is the score to beat. Cheryl Weatherstone, her second attempt.
Probably the same vault. Sukahara piked, laid out, pikes around, and a better landing. Step forward slightly. This will score a little bit better.
Now living in Darien, Connecticut.
It was a very good vault, except the landing didn't demonstrate the control that I would like to see. Sukahara half turn on, layout, pikes it around, and here's that slight step forward. You really want to nail those landings.
9.50 is the score to beat. Cheryl Weatherstone, her second attempt, 9.30. That's her final score, 9.30. Our next participant, a very explosive and exciting performer, Diane Durham from Gary, Indiana. She's training with Bella Caroli. Caroli's World Gymnastics.
She flies. Watch this. I've never seen such height, distance away from the horse, but you can see the landing was basically out of control. She had all those little steps, and every step is a 10th deduction. It was a magnificent Sukahara, full twist in layout position. Body was straight. Here's the half turn on, full twisting, straight body, back somersault, but watch the landing.
You can see the great height that this young lady gets compared to some of the other girls. But 9.70, Diane Durham, her first attempt. She is the new leader in the vault, and she has one more attempt to go.
It's not fair. She's in a different category from all the other vaulters. She has so much more distance and explosive power. It really puts her in a different category. Watch this. Another Sukahara, and a much better landing. The score considerably better, and it was a layout position. Just a very pretty vault. Half turn onto the horse, a hard push with both hands. Sukahara, full twisting back somersault, only one big step backwards.
And the second attempt, 9.80. Diane Durham is the new leader. Our next participant, Tracy Hinkle. She's the youngest in the field, just 13 years of age, from Omaha, Nebraska. Trains with the Parkettes, Bill and Donna Strauss, her coaches.
Now she does a handspring half turn back somersault. A very difficult acrobatic type vault, but if you notice, she wasn't that high or far away from the horse, and that's going to really affect the score. She had a good landing. Here it is. Handspring, she does a half turn, back somersault, but it was pretty close to the horse, and she was like crunched down.
Yes, her legs were also separated. I think you can see the speed that Diane Durham had compared to this young lady, Tracy Hinkle. There is a difference. So, 9.25, her first score. She has her second attempt coming up right now.
Powerful run. Same vault. Handspring, half turn, back somersault. A little cleaner, a little further away from the horse, and will score a little better.
But remember that score to beat, Diane Durham, 9.80.
Real tough acrobatic skill. Handspring, half turn, back somersault off, and you can see she stood it up. Had better control on the landing.
Second score, 9.30 for Tracy Hinkle. And that's her final score, 9.30. Our next contestant is Tracy Talavera, Caesars Palace winner of a year ago. She's 16, from Walnut Creek, California, trains with the Oregon Academy of Artistic Gymnastics. Dick Mulvihill, her coach.
Handspring front with a half turn, and I'd say the only real thing that I didn't like about the vault is she just didn't finish the half turn, Len, and hop off to the side.
USA national team, Tracy Talavera. She's been a member of that team.
Good stride, real good athletic ability. And here it is, a handspring, front somersault, half turn, little trouble on the half turn, and hops off to the side. That's going to cost her.
Fortunately for Tracy, she has another vault coming.
Well, I was talking to Tracy earlier on, and she might try a very new vault.
Her first attempt was 9.40. She needs to improve on that because the score to beat by Diane Durham is 9.80.
Watch this new vault. It's a round off, back handspring, Sukahara looks good. Oh, darn, that's a shame. It was really an excellent vault. I haven't seen anybody do a vault like this in the United States so far. Extremely difficult because she does a back handspring onto the horse. Round off, back handspring onto the horse, pushes off a Sukahara off, and she just sat back on it, and that's a 5-point deduction.
8.85, and I know she's very disappointed, although her final score will be the first one, 9.40.
Well, she's running off. I'm sure she's a little upset by that vault, Len.
Our next participant is Beth Pope from Little Rock, Arkansas. She trains with Bella Caroli, Caroli's World Gymnastics.
What an athlete. Sukahara, laid out position, out of control on the landing again, Len. I have to tell you that here's an exceptional athlete. She did a magnificent Sukahara in layout position. See how far she was away from the horse, but a lot of steps on the landing. Watch. 1, 2, 3 steps, and she's off to the side a little bit.
And that will cost her. Her first score on her first attempt for Beth Pope.
Her score, here it is, 9.50.
9.50. Beth Pope. So had she contained her landing, she would have done much, much better.
She's a real pretty girl, isn't she?
Yes, she is. There's a lot of young, very pretty young ladies
right
that are competing at Caesars Palace.
It's nice seeing her come back. You know, she won the National Sports Festival 2 years ago and then got injured and was out for a year. And now she's back. It's good seeing that. I love the way she approaches the horse. Real strong run. Sukahara, full twist this time. But look where she landed, all the way off the side of the mat, and that's not in alignment with the horse, and that is a major deduction, but it was a very difficult vault. How would she be as a halfback?
Great. She has great acceleration going down there.
Here's the Sukahara with a full twist, but off to the side, big step, a little out of control on that, and the judges are quickly taking note of all that.
Second attempt, the same as the first, 9.50, and that will be her final score for Beth Pope. Julianne McNamara, 17, from Danville, California. She trains with Don Peters at Scats in Southern California, and she is great.
She is a real great one. A Sukahara with a full twist, tough position, a very neat landing.
1982 World Cup game.
It's something trying to control the body while you're upside down, flying through the air. And here is the push, back somersault, full twist. And the landing, only a slight little step backwards.
Julianne McNamara. Last year she was here but did not compete because she was ill. She is not ill now.
Here's the score.
Her first vault, 9.55 for Julianne McNamara. The score to beat by Diane Durham is 9.80.
Look at the intensity in her face. She could really concentrate.
She smiled for a moment there, but she's getting ready now, and you can see the concentration in her face.
I've never seen a more determined gymnast. Sukahara, full twist. Wow, what a landing. This was an exceptional vault, and the score is going to reflect that. And one of the things that I really liked on this, Len, was the landing, as well as the distance away from the horse. Here it is. Half on, full twist off, and the landing. Real neat.
And her second attempt, 9.70 for Julianne McNamara. 9.70. Julianne Brombaugh, 14 from Portland, Oregon. And she trains with the Oregon Academy of Artistic Gymnastics. Dick Mulvihill, her coach.
Sukahara full twist. But if you compare that vault with Julianne McNamara's, you can see that the form wasn't quite as good. She didn't have as much distance away from the horse. And look at the knees. Sukahara full twist. The form wasn't quite as good on the actual tumbling movement.
She's not a very large girl, is she? She's
No,
tiny.
she's not.
Here is the score.
First score.
9.40.
9.40. First score for Julianne Brombaugh. She has one more attempt. 9.80 by Diane Durham is the score to beat.
She's in a state of shock for just being here, competing with all these great gymnasts.
You said
good experience for her. Here's her run. Hurdle onto the board. Sukahara full twist. Well, about the same as the last one. You know, what amazes me is the air sense these kids have. When they're upside down, they seem to know exactly where they are. This is a pretty tough vault. Half on, full twisting back somersault off, and their eyes are on that mat. They've spotted that mat to know where they are. Air sense.
Second score, 9.30.
Second attempt, 9.30. Julianne's final score will be 9.40.
Julianne Brombaugh on the vault.
Our final
Our
contestant,
last gymnast for the vaulting competition.
Mary Lou Retton, 15, Fairmont, West Virginia, and she is very, very explosive. She will be flying down here.
Watch out. I never saw a gymnast accelerate into the horse the way she does. Look at the speed. That was a handspring, front somersault in high position with a half turnout, a brainy out, and she landed all the way at the end of the mat.
By the way, that's a figure vault.
Look at the run, the power. She explodes. She's a real acrobat. One big step backwards. This kid flies.
She is so powerful, so explosive.
Once we see her on floor exercise, which is the last event of this competition, she does things that nobody in the world is doing today on floor exercise.
Her first attempt, 9.75 for Mary Lou Retton. That is second best so far. 9.8 by Diane Durham leads, but Mary Lou has one more attempt to go.
Now, Mary Lou exemplifies what the perfect vaulter would be. Very powerful legs, strong run, and excellent air sense. Really knows where she is.
Why is she licking her fingers?
So her hands don't slip off the horse when she pushes off. One thing you don't want to do, the way she runs down that vault runway, is to slip off.
She is running about as fast as any of the girls here down the runway,
Oh,
is she not?
faster. She has probably the fastest speed down that runway. She actually picks up an additional amount of speed as she gets closer to the horse. Watch this. She just vibrates into the horse. That was a Sukahara in layout position. A little out of control on the landing, but just an excellent vault.
That looked terrific to me, and you'd see her coach, Della Caroli, patting her on the back.
She almost ran out of mat space on the landing. Watch how far away she gets and does it in layout position. Sukahara, full twisting layout, beautiful toe point, and at the very end of the mat.
Here's the second vault. The final score, 9.90. Mary Lou Retton, 9.90. And that beats Diane Durham's 9.80. And you can see by the expression on this young lady's face, she is happy. She is the winner of the vault. And you can see the crowd loves this young lady. Let's get an opportunity right now to see the winning vault by Mary Lou Retton. Tremendous. The winning vault, the score is 9.90. Mary Lou Retton, the winner. Diane Durham, 9.80, came in second. Their coach, Bella Caroli, I'm sure he's happy. Julianne McNamara came in third. Let's go to John. He's going to talk with Mary Lou.
Mary Lou, you just beat the best gymnast in the country on vault. How does it feel?
Feels great.
What makes you such a powerful vaulter?
Well, I just try my best to run down there with all my speed and block as hard as I can.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
The winner of the vault, Mary Lou Retton, with a score of 9.90. She's getting ready for the second event, and so are the people in the crowd, the coaches, and the gymnasts. John, what should we look for in this second event?
The uneven bars is really a dynamic event. You'll see skills through the handstand position, gymnastic moves sending the gymnast from one bar to the next, flips and somersaults, plus an acrobatic dismount with a good landing. And all of this must be done while you keep your feet together and you can't stop it.
The uneven bars, our second event on a four-event program. Tracy Talavera, the all-around champion of last year, 1982, at Caesar's Palace. She did not get underway with the vault as well as she would have liked to. She must improve on that in this event.
A reverse heck, and she's off to a great start on the bars, Len. You can't afford to fall off. And here are those handstand positions. There's a stall to shoot, but her feet touch the bars. That's a deduction. Not allowed to have your feet touch the bars on the stall. Here's the handstand. Now for a good dismount, a comedy full twist. Very difficult dismount.
Tracy Talavera, she looked like she had complete control over everything. We're going to take a look at some slow motion.
Watch this reverse hecht. Over the top bar. Extremely difficult skill. And sets up an extremely tough dismount called the comedy full. It's a half turn and then a full twisting back somersault. And on the landing, she demonstrates a lot of good control, just a slight step forward.
Her score, 9.55 for Tracy Talavera. Our second competitor, Beth Pope.
Competition is really getting close here. And none of the gymnasts could afford any major mistakes, any falls, or any errors that require a 3 to 4 or 5-tenth deduction. Nice transitions from one bar to the next. Hipping movements. Toe on. Back to the high bar. Giant swings. Split her legs on that. Another split on the legs. That's a deduction. A front somersault with a half turn. You know, it was a routine there. There were no major deductions. She split her legs on the giant swings. And Escaroli very happy with the routine. But I was not impressed with the overall difficulty of the routine in the beginning. She had all the difficulty later on. Here's a giant swing, splits her legs, the feet should be together. Another split of the legs, feet should be together. Another dismount, toe on, front somersault with a half turn. It was a good routine, but not much difficulty in the beginning.
And the numbers, 9.30 for Beth Pope. Tracy Talavera is leading with 9.55. Julianne McNamara, 1982 American Cup all-around champion. Score to beat, 9.55.
She's one of the top performers on the uneven bars in the world. She took a bronze medal at the World Championships. She has great form, excellent toe point, and difficulty from the very beginning of the routine. And you notice on her swing, dynamic.
And she's continuing all of the time. There's no breaks, no stops or pauses.
No. Here's a stall to shoot. And a Jaeger front somersault. Look at the toe point, the extension. Notice there's no hesitant movements. This is a great routine. And a front somersault with a half turn over the low bar. All I saw wrong with that whole routine was on the dismount, just one little step forward. Otherwise, it was perfect.
She did smile. She did smile, which gives you a pretty good indication that she's very happy with the routine.
And here's that Jaeger front, an extremely difficult movement. And the toe point, the extension, she flies from one bar to the next.
She just does a tremendous job. You can see the difference, and I think you will see the difference between Julianne McNamara and some of the others.
And here's a dismount, a front somersault with a half turn over the low bar, and only that one little step backwards.
What about the score? There's a smile, and there is the score, 9.90. Michelle Goodwin is our next participant. And she's got a tremendous score to beat, 9.90 by Julianne McNamara.
I wouldn't want to follow that. Full turn, handstand. Nice transitions from one bar to the next.
What are the requirements, some of the requirements on the uneven bars that they must do?
Well, you must travel from one bar to the next. You must have kipping movements, a good dismount. Don't stop. Keep your form to avoid those execution deductions. Here's the full turn on the bar, into the handstand, pikes and grabs the top bar. I like this, a very nice combination from one bar to the next, back to the low bar.
Here are the scores for Michelle Goodwin.
Michelle Goodwin.
9.45.
9.45 for Michelle Goodwin. Bear in mind, 9.90 by Julianne McNamara is the score to beat. Here's the winner of the vault, Mary Lou Retton, coming into the uneven bars. Now, she's got a score to beat at 9.90. Is she capable of doing that?
I don't think so. She can score, not now because she just made a little bobble on the top bar, but she does a move called the Retton. It's an original move, and here it comes. It's a bar beat and front somersault to the top bar.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a unique move, and it's named after her. This kid is going to go places. And a dismount. A front somersault with a half twist, just like McNamara did, except she kept her knees straight. Very difficult dismount. It's not going to be a 9.9, but it's going to be way up there. So there's the problem she had in the beginning. A little bobble. That's about 2/10. Otherwise, an extremely dynamic routine. Here's the Retton. She'll do a bar beat on the bar right now, and then a front somersault onto the top bar. You like that?
That's great. I can see why they named it after her. There aren't too many people that can do that. Matter of fact, just one so far, Mary Lou Retton.
And here's a dismount, a front somersault, toe on, front somersault, keeping her knees straight, and now a half turn over the low bar.
9.65.
There's no margin for error, otherwise you catch the lower bar. Her score, 9.65 for Mary Lou Retton. She is off to a fantastic start in Caesars Palace event. Michelle Dessert is our next participant. And the score to beat, it's tough, 9.90.
Starts on the low bar with some stall to work, showing flexibility. Her coach moved the board off to the side so her feet won't hit. And she does a very difficult release. Right here, a Jaeger front. It's a pretty tough kid, right?
Amazing, as tiny as these young ladies are, the type of punishment they can really take.
They're all getting set for the '84 Olympics, and what a dismount. Not a step, not a wobble.
California. That's Michelle Dessert.
Watch this very difficult Jaeger front. Here it is. Big release on the bars. She does it with her knees straight and good toe point. She doesn't fall apart on the difficult skills. And here's her dismount. It's a stalder action through, front somersault with a half turn, and just a slight little hop backwards, which may be a half of a tenth.
Her score, 9.65. Michelle Dessert. Cheryl Witherstone, member of the British national team, who said she was actually born in Britain.
Starting on the low bar, now she's on the high one. Into the handstand, split a leg slightly, a reverse heck, another hard, difficult move. All the girls are coming up with at least one big release. You need that in order to win on bars. And a dismount, toe on, front somersault in tuck position. Not quite as difficult as the other dismounts that you saw.
I think for those who are not that well aware of gymnastics, the dismount, when you're dismounting from the high bar going over the low bar, there is not any margin for error. Oh, you can get hurt.
That's right. You don't want to land on that bar. Here she starts on the low bar. It's called a stall to shoot. Arms are slightly bent on that. Could be a little stronger. And watch the coach pull the board away. That's Tom McCarthy. Good man. Into the handstand, splitting her legs slightly for a deduction. But here's that reverse heck, big release. And if she missed that bar with her grip on the top bar, she could have hit the low bar and really got hurt.
Here are the scores for Weatherstone. The average 9.40.
9.40 for Cheryl Weatherstone.
Big improvement for Cheryl in the last year on this event.
This will be Tracy Hinkle.
Tracy Hinkle. 9.90 the score to beat. And bear in mind, this young lady, the youngest, 13 years old.
Top bar. Free hip, giant swing again to a front. Oh, very, very neat skill. Half turn, front somersault, and straddle position. That was kind of surprising. I didn't expect her to do that. And the dismount, toe on front with a half. You know, Tracy really does very difficult movements on the bars. And she's going to really increase the score as her form gets better. Her form breaks up a little bit, but that's because she's not quite as mature and as experienced as the other gymnasts, but there were no major deductions.
Her hometown is Omaha, Nebraska, but she trains in Pennsylvania with Bill and Donna Strauss of the Parkettes. I know that Tim McCarver is going to be on the show. He had an opportunity to talk to this young lady about that.
And here's her dismount. A toe on, front somersault with a half turn. You can see knees are kind of split open, and
score for Tracy Hinkle,
but she's going to go someplace.
Tracy Hinkle, her score 9.30 as her coach Donna Strauss talks about that performance.
The last gymnast to compete on the uneven bar.
The last gymnast, Diane Durham. 9.90 is the score to beat. Julianne McNamara has that score.
Watch how Diane goes from one bar to the next, and the speed that she does it, and the way she flies around the bar.
It's difficult for us to get her in slow motion as quickly as she is.
Here, toe on to the handstand, half turns, another toe on, full turn, giant swing, toe on front with a half way above the bar on the dismount, a very controlled landing, a great routine.
And you can see the crowd's reaction to Diane Durham. And you can see her reaction, her coach, Della Caroli. And you see the smiles like that, you know that she has done well.
And here's toe on, half turn, toe on, full turn into giant swings. A very difficult combination. Setting up her dismount, way above the bar, front somersault with a half turn, controlled landing. Can't be better.
Here's the score for Diane Durham, 9.75
for Diane Durham, 9.75. An outstanding score, but not enough to beat Julianne McNamara. Her score, as you take a look at her performance, an almost perfect 9.90. 9-0. The winner of the bars, Julianne McNamara. And here it is. The final results of the bars. McNamara the winner, Diane Durham in second place, Redden and DeSere tied for third. The all-around after two events, McNamara in first, followed by Redden and Durham in second place. In third, DeSere, fourth, Talavera, fifth, Beth Pope. Let's go down to the winner of the bars, John talking to the winner.
Julianne, I really love your routine. It's just fantastic. Tell me, were you worried about hitting the routine at all?
No, not really. I've competed this routine 2 or 3 times in the last couple meets, so I felt pretty confident.
Are you ever afraid of making a mistake on that Jaeger flip?
Well, a little bit, but in the gym I make most of them, so it's just a matter of being confident with it, so.
Congratulations, it was great.
Thank you.
All of the competitors performing here today at Caesars Palace train at private clubs around the country. Tim McCarver, as we discussed earlier, had an opportunity to visit one of those clubs.
This is the Parkettes National Gymnastic Training Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. For many years, a gymnastic club named the Parkettes has produced some of this nation's finest women gymnasts. As a matter of fact, among its 925 members are 2 Caesars Palace Invitational contestants, Tracy Hinkle and Gina Stallone. Today, hundreds of thousands of gymnasts train on the club level, but only a handful of clubs such as the Parkettes have developed programs with outstanding reputations. It's a facility such as this where today's top women gymnasts are more than trained, they're created. The making of the Parkettes corresponds with the advancement of gymnastics in the United States today. 17 years ago at Trexler Junior High School, Principal Carol Parks encouraged Donna and Bill Strauss to teach a tumbling class for girls. Since then, the Parkettes have lived in many so-called homes, such as the top floors of the Franklin Fire Station, an old barn without heat, the Swain County Day School, the Christ Lutheran Church, the upper floors of Symphony Hall, and now their new home. Built on land donated by the city of Allentown, this 24,000 square foot complex is the largest women's training facility in the country. But had it not been for Olga Corbett and Nadia Comaneci, the growth of the Parkettes would not have been possible. Between 1972 and 1976, gymnastics was a sport born anew, as 2 little girls captured not only gold medals, but the hearts of millions around the world. Never before had a sport experienced such tremendous growth. In 1972, there were approximately 15,000 gymnasts training on the club level in the United States. Today, that number has increased to 150,000 plus. The number of gymnastic clubs has also shown the same rate of growth. But there remains today only a small group of superior training centers like the Parkettes, such as SCATS in Los Angeles, the Oregon Academy of Artistic Gymnastics in Eugene, Bella Caroli's gym in Houston, MG Gymnastics in Silver Springs, Maryland, and Burke's Gymnastics Academy in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Our purpose for developing this type of a facility, there's several reasons. One is to produce Olympians and World Championship gymnasts in both the boys and girls, and also to provide a facility for the Lehigh Valley for all of the youth at any level, beginner level all the way through to the Olympic level, for a place to do physical activity and have fitness a part of their life.
We set up our facilities in order to be able to practice high-level gymnastics. High-level gymnastics mean international level.
Of the 1,800 women who participate in NCAA gymnastic programs, not one is nationally ranked. Therefore, the only chance a woman has to compete on an international level is through intense training at facilities such as these.
Virtually all the girls on the United States national team come from private clubs, facilities like ours in different parts of the country where private individuals are just trying to upgrade the sport. We would be further behind than we are.
Internationally, we'd probably be 9th or 10th. We still don't have our act together. We're probably anywhere from 3rd to 6th right now, which means we're knocking on the door. Without facilities like that, it would be zip. You could yodel in the canyon, so to speak.
In the United States here, we only have, maybe 5 or 6 good facilities where gymnasts can go and train. And that's really helped bring up the level of the sport in the United States, I think, having these different training centers around the country.
Due to the limited number of superb facilities available in the United States, aspiring gymnasts must leave their homes in order to obtain advanced special training, such as Beth Pope, Diane Durham, and Mary Lou Retton, who traveled to Bella Caroli's gym in Houston. Tracy Talavera has moved from Garden Grove, California to Dick Mulvihill in Eugene. And Tracy Hinkle, who headed east from Omaha, Nebraska to the Parkettes in Allentown, where she lives with Parkette coach Beth Lorman, along with 2 other team members. How did you get to Allentown, Pennsylvania from Omaha, Nebraska? That's a long way, isn't it?
Yeah, but I came to be a Parkette to achieve my goals the best way possibly that I can.
What are your goals?
To attend the 1984 Olympics is my future goal, and to be #1 in the nation is my near goal.
Well, why do you have a better chance of being in the Olympics if you train here than if you were to train someplace else? Why?
Because the training facility is superb. It's the top in the nation. The coaches are marvelous. They help you very much. There's so many coaches. It's not like there's one coach running the whole gym. There's one on each event and possibly 2.
It's got to be kind of tough, though, when you're away from home as much as you are, right?
Yeah. I get homesick, but I just think to myself what I'm out here to do, and then, I just think about that, and usually I don't get homesick very much.
It's a great concern of ours, and so we try to provide a family atmosphere with any of the girls that we take. We make sure that the family is going to try to treat them exactly like their own children and provide the care and understanding that they would be getting back home.
The amount of money it takes to run facilities of this caliber is incredible. This building and equipment are valued at $1 million. This year's operating budget of $500,000 will include coaches' salaries, travel expenses for competition, and day-to-day operating costs.
Our budget for training the girls on our team is about a $350,000 annual budget.
Our budget is about $650,000 a year. We run about $6,000 to $9,000 in the red per month.
Local fundraisers such as telethons and candy sales are a necessity. Last year, the Parkettes raised $175,000 through fundraisers, but it takes a lot more than candy bars and telethons to construct a facility of this magnitude. The assistance of private industry is a must. Alfred Pelget, chairman of the board of Mack Truck, came to their aid.
So I decided to take the job on. We formed a committee and raised some money, got $250,000 put together, enough as a down payment on this beautiful facility that you see here. And we moved into it last January. And now my job is to continue writing foundations and corporations to support this great group of young people.
The main reason that I do this is because I just have a deep feeling for kids, and I like to see kids achieve. And take notice, I'm not saying gymnasts, because I really feel that first comes kids and then comes gymnasts. I feel we have to try to develop an individual, and through the individual we're going to be able to develop an athlete. And through the individuals we're going to be able to try to develop America into a greater power in the future.
You know, every 4 years we cheer our fellow Americans in the Olympics. Our dream is their dream, the Olympic goal at the end of the rainbow. Realistically, this can only be achieved with the best coaches and with the best facilities. The Parkettes are among a select group who offers such a program. From training at a junior high school and over a fire station to this $1 million complex, the Parkettes, like the sport of gymnastics, have come a long way in the last 15 years.
Len, you can see how far gymnastics has come in the last 10 years, and the performances of these girls today reflects that growth. These clubs are really important.
We're now ready for the third, and I think the most difficult event. John, explain what we should look for.
On the balance beam, the performance must be between 1:10 and 1:30. You will see acrobatics, tumbling on the beam, also gymnastic elements, turns, hops, leaps, jumps, and body waves. Must use the entire length of the beam, and most important, don't fall off the balance beam.
Balance beam exercise. Our first participant, Gina Stallone, 17 from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. And Tim McCarver just visited the club that she trains at, the Parkettes, with the coach, Donna and Bill Stroud.
Gina had an injury about 3 months ago, and it was a broken finger. This might have influenced her performance on the balance beam today. Slightly out of balance there on the turn. It's not only important to stay on the beam, but must avoid any wobble. Round off back tuck. Amazing she stood on.
What is deducted if you fall off?
5/10. And to put that in context, Len, the top 3 performers, only 0.05 of a point is separating them. And 5/10 could take somebody from first all the way down to 5th, if you fall. Nice double turn there. Dance is important. Balance. Combination of acrobatic moves. A front somersault. Very solid. Set for her dismount, round off, full twisting back somersault.
See the judges trying to make the determination of how they are going to score.
Well, here's an acrobatic mount called a front somersault. Head very close to the beam.
Here are the scores for Stallone. The average 9
Very solid and steady.
Gina Stallone. Her score, very impressive, 9.60 for Gina Stallone.
Our next gymnast up on the
Tracy Talavera, our next participant. Score to beat is 9.60.
Round off. Back handspring on the beam. Very similar to what she's doing on the vault today, that round off, back handspring, Sukahara off on vaulting, and here's another application of that same move.
She looks like she's part of that 4-inch beam, the way that she performed. It's amazing.
World Championship, she took a bronze medal on the beam and is considered one of the finest beam performers in the world today. And the 1980 Olympic trials, she was #1 qualifier in this country.
I tried to walk on that beam, and I know just trying to walk on that beam how difficult it is, let alone performing the maneuvers that these young ladies are doing. It's amazing.
There's a flare on the beam. Flexibility. An acrobatic tumbling movement is coming up now called a side aerial right here. Very difficult. Back handspring. Back layout. Not a wobble, and, you know, there's no hesitancy in her movements. She just goes right for it, demonstrates a lot of confidence. Back handspring, full twisting back somersault. This is just a marvelous routine. She's going to move way up in the all-around score. And Coach Mulvihill giving her a big hug.
You can see the fans certainly do appreciate this outstanding young gymnast, Tracy Talavera. That performance is really outstanding, John. Let's take a second look.
Len, what exemplifies her performance is she can perform acrobatic movements with total confidence and no wobbles. Here's a side aerial, back handspring, and now a back layout, and always in perfect balance. Not a wobble. Here's a full turn afterwards. She's graceful, pretty arm movements. Her dismount, no extra steps, round off back handspring, full twisting back somersault, good toe point, and nails the landing. What a score it's going to be.
Tracy Talavera, the score is 9.85 for Tracy Talavera. 9.85. Outstanding performance. Julianne Brombaugh is our next competitor. She, like Tracy, trains at the Oregon Academy of Artistic Gymnastics under Dick Mulvihill.
Cute little element there on her head. Back layout. Slight wobble there where McNamara had no wobble. So there was about a 10th deduction there.
I think you can see that the concentration has to be there because in the background you can see people moving. There are photographers around. People definitely are watching this young lady. And when you only have an area of 4 inches in width on that beam, you have to concentrate.
Side aerial. Solid. Another acrobatic movement, back handspring, back layout. Smooth. She has a lot of interesting movements with her legs, her arms. Cute.
Is that for the judges, or is that different?
Personality. A little originality, showing a little bit of herself. Difficult dismount coming up. Double back somersault. And Len, that's a shame. You know, she had a very solid routine. And, you know, on the dismount, it's a difficult dismount, but every step is a 10th deduction. She lost 5 tenths on the dismount. Watch this back handspring. Back layout. Solid. Solid. Getting set for a very high score. Exceptional routine, and then on the dismount 2 times around, double back somersault, but 5 steps at least. 5 tenth deduction. She's just lost balance, over-rotated it. You can see in her face a little discouragement.
Here are the scores for
As Julianne signs an autograph, we see her score is 9.30.
Could have been a 9.8 without all the steps on the dismount.
Tied for second place in the all-around, Mary Lou Retton. Score to beat, 9.85 by Tracy Talavera. We have seen this young lady in 2 events. She has been very, very good. How is she in the beam?
Her acrobatic movements should be very tough on. But how about her balance, the choreography on the beam, and her dance elements? I don't think quite as good, but if she could hit a real solid routine, I think she'll score well. A little archy on that handstand. Back handspring, a little extra step there. She might not be as graceful as Talavera on the beat, but she's real fast and quick.
These girls absolutely have no fear when they're up there.
Look at her fly in that front somersault. No fear, you're right. Can't have fear when you want to fly in a front somersault like that. Look at everybody just watching her.
The other competitors, they're watching to see if they can pick up something they may be able to put into their performance, and the crowd, they're speechless, they're hushed there. They're watching the outstanding performances of not only Mary Lou Retton, but all of these young ladies.
Double back somersault for dismount, and what a landing. She stood it up, straight body on the landing. And Corelli's just a little excited.
Mary Lou Retton. Her teammates and coach congratulating her on an outstanding performance.
Watch this front somersault as she flies to the end of the beam. Daring, fearless. The dismount in the stratosphere, way, way up there, double back somersault, and stands it up. Great.
Mary Lou Retton. Her score.
Average 9.65.
9.65 for Mary Lou Retton. Michelle Goodwin, our next performer. Bear in mind she has a performance of 9.85 by Tracy Talavera to beat.
That's going to be a very hard score to beat. It could be done, but no mistakes. You cannot make any mistakes. Head kip, there's one little mistake. Out of balance on the head kip just slightly. Acrobatic movement, back handspring, back handspring, back handspring. 3 in a row. Pretty. Full turn. Arabesque, solid. Full house at Caesar's Palace. Crowd is really impressed by these kids today.
Looking at her performance, practically flawless.
Right.
She needs a good dismount.
Her ankle is taped. Left ankle might have an influence on her dismount. Full twisting back somersault, 2 steps backwards. Usually she throws a much more difficult dismount. I believe that her ankle's been bothering her. This acrobatic series, 3 back handsprings in a row, must be in perfect alignment on the beam. Cannot get your hips moving one way or the other, otherwise you fall right off, and real solid.
Here's the score for Michelle Goodwin.
Michelle Goodwin, her score 9.60. 9.60. A fine score for Michelle Goodwin. Our next participant is Sherry Mann. Sherry not doing nearly as well this year as she did last year when she came in second.
Sherry doesn't look in very good shape.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I think she looks a little heavier, not quite as quick in her movements, but yet it's still early in the season. As a back somersault on the beam, very difficult mount. Handstand, back hip circle, a move you normally see on the uneven bars. She's doing it on the balance beam.
It almost looked like a mistake.
Well, no, it was meant, and she did it very well. Back tuck. Do you notice that she's not quite as quick as she was last year? Her movements are a little slower. I don't think she's in very good shape right now. Front somersault, out of balance on that. That's a 3/10 deduction. It's early in the year, Len, but I would encourage, with the level of competition that you've seen here today, Sherry has to get into very good shape in order to compete with these kids. But the World Championships team, she made the team. She is a top gymnast. A full twisting back somersault, but I've seen her lose a little bit of the snap.
We're going to take another look at that replay of the mount that Sherry Mann had.
Extremely difficult mount. Round off. She punches the board with her feet. A back somersault. Look how she spots the beam with her eyes. And there she is on the beam, slightly out of balance, about a 2/10 deduction, but a very difficult mount. Here's the front somersault, where she picked up another 3/10 deduction, way out of balance. Didn't keep her body in alignment over the beam.
9.30 is the score for Sherry Mann. 9.30.
Our next gymnast to perform will be
Julianne McNamara. First place in the all-around after 2 events. She's got a tough score to beat by Tracy Talavera. She has to beat 9.85.
Leading by 0.05 of a point.
That's
one arm handstand. Look at the extension. Full split out of the handstand. Full turn. Very precise. No wobbles. Confident. Back layout. Solid. Notice the hips right over the beam, center of gravity over that beam. Back handspring, back handspring. Tough. So far, a perfect routine. Notice how much he's improved in the last year, moving up and down the beam very smoothly. Straddle. It's one of the finest routines I've seen Julianne perform on this most difficult event. Dismount coming up. Going to be a tough one. Double back somersault. 2 times around, double back, and on! Don, that is a real shame. You know, here's this kid competing in the all-around, and that is going to be a 3 to 5/10 deduction. She was only leading by 0.05 of a point. This is going to hurt her score.
As you said, it was flawless until the dismount. Julianne McNamara.
Back layout, flawless. But here comes that dismount. She over-rotates it, and unfortunately lands on her hands for at least a 3 to 5/10 deduction. Look at this. Bing!
Here's the score for Julianne McNamara.
That's a shame.
Julianne McNamara, 9.25. 9.25 for Julianne McNamara. Diane Durham tied for second place in the all-around after 2 events. She is tied with Mary Lou Retton. 9.85 is the score to beat. That was performed by Tracy Talavera.
Mary Lou Retton scored a 9.65. If Diane Durham scores a 9.65, she will be tied for first place in the all-around. No falls. So far, so good. Full turn. Solid handstand, Len. Look at Caroli in the back, just concentrating on the performance. Back layout. Two-10 deduction on that, at least.
She has really improved over a year ago. Vastly improved.
That leap was kind of weak. High back somersault. Notice that beam just bends when she lands. If she nails a dismount, she'll have a good score. She's going to perform a very difficult dismount, a double back somersault. And here it comes. Punch, double back somersault. Okay.
Diane Durham. Making a beautiful day for her coach, Della Caroli. He has 3 performers in this event today, all doing extremely well.
Here's her mount. Head kip. Front somersault. Very solid. Her dismount was way up in the stratosphere like Mary Lou Retton great height and amplitude off the beam. Both feet punch the end of the beam, so you can't afford to miss the end of that beam. 2 times around. 1, 2. A great landing, just 1 step backwards. It's going to be a good score.
And that score is 9.60 for Diane Durham. A very fine score for Diane, but it was not good enough to beat the girl who won the beam. Let's take a look at the performance of Tracy Talavera. The winning score of 9.85. Results of the beam. The winner is Tracy Talavera with a score of 9.85. Second place, Mary Lou Redden. Tied for third, Gina Stallone, Michelle Goodwin, and Diane Durham. The all-around, after 3 events, first place now is Mary Lou Redden. Diane Durham in second place, Julianne McNamara in third. Followed by Tracy Talavera, Beth Pope, and Cheryl Witherstone. Now let's go down to John with the winner of the beam.
Tracy, spectacular as usual. Don't you ever get nervous on the beam?
Yeah, I get nervous, but I think a lot of competitions have helped me. You know, I can control it a lot better now, and I can just block out everything else.
Is there any move on the beam that you really try to concentrate on?
Well, today I did a new mount. I did a round-up full flop into my dismount, so I was sort of nervous about that. So I was thinking about that most of the routine.
Well, spectacular as usual, and congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Now as the crowd looks around, we're getting ready for the 4th and final event. John, what are we going to look for here?
Well, on the floor exercise, you must perform the routine between 1:10 and 1:30 seconds. Acrobatic tumbling elements of very high difficulty level, gymnastic elements, dance and choreography with theatrical presentation. Stay in a 40 by 40 foot area on floor exercise.
And we're ready for our first participant, Cheryl Witherstone. She's currently in 6th place in the all-around. John, I think this is the most beautiful of the 4 events.
I like Cheryl's dance, and everybody will come up with a very hard tumbling pass, usually the first one. Round up back handspring, double back, somersault, pike position, excellent control on the landing. Watch the dance. Flexibility you need in order to perform on floor exercise. Cheryl set for the next tumbling pass. Front somersault. Full twisting back somersault. Contrasting Cheryl with some of the other gymnasts later on, you'll see that she's strong in the dance, but a little weak on the tumbling end. Round up back handspring, full twist also for the dismount. Not a very difficult tumbling dismount. But I like her dance.
Cheryl Witherstone in Great Britain. But now is training here in the United States.
The hardest tumbling pass she had was her mount, was a double back somersault in pike position. Here we go, Len. Kept her knees straight 2 times around, and really good landing on it. Beautiful position.
Her score, 9.35 for Cheryl Witherstone, 9.35. Diane Durham, 2nd place in the all-around. Coming up, the score to beat is 9.35. She also has an opportunity to win it all. She needs an outstanding performance, though, doesn't she?
Yes, she's 0.05 of a point behind Mary Lou Retton. So this new breed of gymnast that certainly showed up today, very powerful, quick, aggressive gymnasts, and her first tumbling pass, watch the difficulty level. A double back somersault with a full twist. And way up there. Only a 10th for stepping out, Lynn. Not too worried. But she was way up there. Change of pace coming up. Getting set for a second tumbling pass. It's going to be a tough one. Round off, 1.5 twisting back layout, double back somersault. That's a shame. When her hands touch the ground like that, that's at least a 2/10 deduction. So she stepped out of bounds. That was a 10th, maybe 2/10, and now her hands touch the floor. That's another, she's at 4/10 I've counted so far. Round of back handspring, with 2 twists, and all those steps. You know, here's a case of a gymnast who was not able to control her power.
Almost too much power. Diane Durham. But looking at her performance today compared to a year ago, a vast improvement. A year ago, she was 7th in the all-around.
Here's that 1.5 twisting back somersault to the double back somersault where her hands touch the floor. She didn't get around. Not enough rotation, hands touch the floor. That really hurts the score.
The score for Diane Durham, 9.35. Our next competitor is the youngest, Tracy Hinkle, 13 years old, from Omaha, Nebraska, but she's training with Bill and Donna Strauss in Pennsylvania with the Parkettes.
This youngster has a lot of potential. Very mature for her age. And round of back handspring, double back somersault, and pike position. Good start. Little theatrical presentation there.
To me, that's amazing for a young lady that's just 13 years of age to have that.
Round off. Arabian front. Full twisting back somersault. You don't want to do that unless you warm up, Lynn. Dismount, round of back handspring, 2 twists, double twisting back somersault. Just a little weak on the form. But overall, I say she should be very happy with this performance.
I would say that's really an outstanding performance for this young lady, Tracy Hinkle. Well, she's congratulated by her teammates from the Parkettes. 9.50 for Tracy Hinkle. Tracy Talavera, 4th place in the all-around, has a score of 9.50 to beat.
I'm a little surprised seeing her at 4th place, but as I told you earlier, Mary Lou Retton and Diane Durham were going to be tough. McNamara, she was tough. She needs a good performance here, Len, to move her all-around score up. Russian front somersault, round off back handspring. Now that's a mistake. You might not realize that she was supposed to do a double back somersault there, but because she was out of control on a back handspring, she was unable to complete her difficult tumbling pass. That's going to hurt her routine. Round off back handspring, she's trying a triple twister, and a 5/10 deduction on that fall. This unfortunate.
I think if there's one thing that we can tell from the performances of these young ladies is that you cannot make any mistakes.
Not anymore, and intend to win. But at the same time, Look at the discipline Talavera has. She knows that she has just messed up this routine and has lost the all-around, but you can't tell that looking at her. That's an example of the real good training these kids are getting with gloves today. Double twisting back somersault, a little weak on that also, bent knees. Been a tough meet for Tracy, especially at the ending.
Definitely difficult because you recall last year Tracy Talavera was the winner of the Caesars Palace Women's Invitational, and she won it with the floor exercise in the last event. Her score is 9.00. Well, you can see Tracy was not very happy with the performance in the floor exercise. Michelle Dessert. Currently, she is 7th in the all-around.
Full twisting, double back somersault. This kid has performed magnificently today. And I would say she has to be considered part of this new breed also. These young kids coming up, Dussaire, Breton, and Durham. Round off back handspring, triple twisting back somersault, and with fantastic form. Watch the dance elements. They're unique. I like them an awful lot. Nails this dismount's going to be a great score. Double twisting back somersault. This is a great routine.
Settled is there. You know when someone does well. Look at that. The other competitors come to her. They're very competitive, and I think they really love each other, don't they?
Yes, they do, and they admire an artistic performance. And watch this triple twisting back somersault. 3 twists, and the form was exceptional. 1, 2, 3 times around, and an almost perfect landing.
Look at that smiling face of Michelle Dessert, and you can see why her score is 9.85. She is the new leader in the floor exercise. First place in the all-around. Mary Lou Retton, she's got a score of 9.85 to beat.
She could win it all. But she's going to perform the most difficult tumbling floor exercise routine in the world today. And here she goes. Double back somersault with a full twist, 210 deduction for stepping out of bounds and additional steps. Well, in her second pass, I have not seen any other female perform it. It's a double back layout. She keeps her body straight. And that comes up right after she works her way into this corner here. There she goes, double back layout, 2 times around, straight body. Wow. Big smile, she knows she has it. It's so tough. Kid does not dance around floor exercise. She thrives around the floor exercise.
She certainly does.
And at dismount, double twisting back somersault. Another great routine.
Mary Lou Retton, the smile on her face tells you that she feels she did extremely well. The crowd is applauding, so is her mother right there. Look at the smiling face of Mary Lou Retton. 9.65 the score. And I think you can hear, John, in the background that someone disagrees. They thought it should have been higher. Julianne McNamara, 3rd place in the all-around. She's got 9.85 to beat.
somersault at the start with a new tumbling pass, a double back somersault with a full twist, same pass that Mary Lou started with, and Diane Durham, but it's a new pass for Julianne. Round off back handspring, double back somersault, full twist. She made it, but bounced off the mat right onto her backside. That's a 5/10 deduction plus a 10th for going out of bounds. 6/10 loss. That's a tough competitor. She's smiling out of it.
You were mentioning Tracy Talavera when she had some problems in the floor exercise, continuing on and doing an outstanding job as if nothing had happened. Julianne McNamara is the same caliber.
That's a sign of a true champion. Triple twisting back somersault. This is really unfortunate because Julianne really performed very well today. Had one problem on beam. Now on floor exercise to have 2 falls. That's a full point.
Bear in mind, after 2 events, she was the leader in the all-around.
Double twisting back somersault. You can't expect to win today with any mistakes, but the skills keep on getting more and more difficult. It's a real challenge for the gymnast to do well.
Julianne McNamara. She is smiling, but she doesn't feel that good about the floor exercise. Here we're taking a second look.
It's a double back somersault with a full twist. These are the new things the kids have to do in order to be competitive, but it's so easy to make a mistake. Double back somersault with a full twist, and she pops off, was sitting back on it, lands on her backside. That's a total 6/10 deduction on that.
The score for Julianne McNamara, 8.65. So, a couple of those moves really cost her. Julianne is unhappy with her performance in the floor exercise, but her teammate, Michelle Dussert, is anything but unhappy. She had an outstanding performance, and she won it with a score of 9.85. Michelle Dussert, the winner in the floor exercise. And once again, her score was 9.85. Mary Lou Retton in second place with 9.65. And Tracy Hinkle with a record of 9.50 in third, which means now that the overall winner is Mary Lou Retton, as you see her being congratulated as the winner of the 4th annual Caesars Palace Women's Invitational. Followed by second place, Diane Durham. Third place, Tracy Talavera. Fourth place, Michelle Dussert. Fifth place, Julianne McNamara. Rounding out the top 10, Weatherstone, Pope, Hinkle, Brombaugh, and Mann. Let's go down to the